All right, all right, all right. White Lion of Judah coming at you live. Gonna be talking about this black goo stuff. We're gonna get down to the skinny. A little humor to get started, folks. My name is CW Chanter, and welcome to this introductory video to my ongoing or intended ongoing series on artificial intelligence black goo. Okay, so people who may be coming to this channel for the first time may not be familiar with my past work. Basically, what I'm trying to do, some of what I'm trying to do here on this channel is to explore some of the subjects that have been ongoing in the New Age, conspiracy theory, truther movement, esoteric knowledge community. You know, there's not a good word for it, and that's okay. Sometimes it's better if there's no good words for it, right? Artificial intelligence black goo is a subject that anybody who is part of this community will know has been getting a lot of movement and energy going on the internet. People are talking about it, people are discussing it, and they're discussing it in a very real way. In fact, artificial intelligence black goo is currently in many circles the enemy de jour of conspiracy theories. You know, I've said it before and I'll say it again. You know, we had the Greys for a long time, then we had the reptilians introduced by David Icke and Alex Collier, and now we had the Archons for a brief minute. I mean, I feel bad for these Archons. We don't want to get too off track, but I just want to say, you know, shed a tear for the Archons, man. You know what I mean? Truly, the Blue Oyster cult, right? Of conspiracy theory enemies. These guys, you know, they came and they went, and they don't fear the Reaper, man. You know what I mean? It's okay. It's gonna be okay, guys. But now it's artificial intelligence black goo, and a lot of people are pointing their fingers at this entity, this energy, this thing, and putting it at the center and the nexus of many conspiracy theories, including but not limited to 9/11, the Gulf oil disaster, Morgellons syndrome. A lot of different things are being causally linked to this thing. I think it's important at this point to really take a look at this. People who are familiar with my channel know what I like to do. Look, the internet is a very big place, okay? And it's very hard to get a grasp on some of these big subjects on the internet, because where do you start, where do you begin, where do you end? So because we're doing this on YouTube, let's concentrate on the YouTube community. And that's going to be fine for us. It's not going to do a disservice. It's going to be simple for us. Let's concentrate on a YouTube channel operated and named after Miles Johnston. Miles Johnston is a very important man in the English conspiracy theory truther movement, and he operates an ongoing series of lectures and conferences known as the Basis Project. He was formerly associated with another organization called AMOC. It's an acronym, and unfortunately I don't have the notes in front of me to tell you what that means. He no longer is associated with them. Also, Miles Johnston has a history in pirate radio that I think is very important and that we'll talk about too. So what we're going to be doing in trying to narrow our field of study, and also the thing that I like to do is to be able to comment upon something that I can then point you to, so that you can go there yourself, experience the information yourself, digest the information yourself, and reflect and say, okay, I get where he's coming from, I get what's going on, or I disagree. So concentrating on the Miles Johnston YouTube channel is very good, because it really is a great information hub, and it really is the center hub and nexus for a lot of this information that's going on about artificial intelligence black goo. Clearly, Alfred Lambermont Weber is also involved, you know, in another capacity. But we're here going to be concentrating on the Miles Johnston channel, because it's the easiest way for me to talk about a subject, but then be able to simply point you to the thing and say, okay, I'm talking about this lecture now, I'm talking about this lecture now, and so we can go through it step by step. Also, all of the major players involved in the artificial intelligence black goo milieu have been associated with the Miles Johnston YouTube channel and the ongoing Basis project. Specifically, a researcher by the name of David Griffin, who we'll be talking about, a woman by the name of Sarah Rachel Adams, who we'll be talking about, a man by the name of James Casbolt, who we'll be talking about. But most importantly, a man by the name of Harold Kutz Vela, who is very important to talk about because a lot of things came to a head with him, and he's currently the center of an ongoing controversy regarding his contributions to the community, or what may be going on with his contributions to the community, or maybe what's going on with him personally. So we might have to get to him earlier rather than later because it's a current subject and it's currently evolving. Okay. In speaking about Miles Johnston, I want to make something very clear here. We're going to be trying to change a little bit of my personal attitude and approach to these subjects. And so I want to make very explicitly clear here, if I'm going to be speaking about things that I disagree with a person about, I do want to take the time to say and acknowledge the fact of the contributions that I think that they have made and are ongoing and made, and also thank them for the contributions that they may have made in the past that I think are very important. Speaking about Miles Johnston, I just want to say this. There's several things that I disagree with him about, but it's very clear to me that a lot of these things revolve around personal experiences that he may have had in his life. And so I just want to be sensitive about that. And number two, I really do want to take this time to say, thank you, sir. Miles Johnston, historically, this is of record and of note, was critically involved and very important in what was known as the pirate radio movement in Great Britain. Basically, you have to understand that even more so than America, the British, the BBC, the British, the government controlled all communications in Great Britain, stifling a lot of creativity, stifling a lot of musical, artistic, poetic, artistic creativity in many, many different ways. And pioneers like Miles Johnston and John Peel and getting out and doing pirate radio, getting their own transmitters, setting up their own transmitters, setting up their own jury-rigged engineering, and transmitter capacities, getting up their wattage, really did have a massive cultural effect. And I just want to take this time to say thank you to Miles Johnston, and please, I'm not trying to kiss your ass to get a pass. I disagree with you about many things. I'm sure many things that I say will seem, counterproductive to you at best, if not serving as evidence that I might be some sort of COINTELPRO agent, because I know that's what we like to accuse each other of being sometimes, not you personally, but people in this community, right? That's how it goes. Okay, so thank you, my brother, for all the work you did with Pirate Radio. Thank you for the ongoing work that you do with the Basis Project. It's not only a source of much information for me personally, but also much entertainment. Okay, we're going to be starting with Basis 17. We're not going to be talking about today. This is just going to be the introductory video. But we will be talking about Basis 17 because it's really the first one that I located that really started to specifically discuss this artificial intelligence black goo. I'm sure the issue of artificial intelligence black goo may have been forwarded either in previous Basis broadcasts, YouTube communiques, but also, prior to that in many other instances. We'll get there, but like I said, concentrating on the Basis Project, we're going to be starting Basis 17 with a researcher by the name of David Griffin. It's a good place to start because that's really where it really kind of takes a hold and we really start talking about artificial intelligence black goo in a real way, its origin, where it comes from, etc. Okay, now we're going to be concentrating primarily on factual statements. Researchers who come out and say this happened and then this happened and this incident happened, and we can look at this historical record and conjecture or surmise or suppose or assume that this may have been the result. I'm not going to be spending too much time on just people's personal experiences. Why? Because it's hard to get a hold of that. It's very hard. The fact of the matter is that human perception is subject to deviation and change, right? And so a person's subjective experiences are oftentimes the worst sort of evidence. Why? A person may be subject to temporary or permanent mental distress or disorder, right? Schizophrenia does exist. I believe mental illness does exist. Paranoia does exist. Also, drug addiction exists. Okay, and substance abuse addiction exists. And I think that's important because a lot of the people that end up coming up in this AI black goo story, I do believe that it's fair to say that there might be other stuff going on other than the interference of artificial intelligence or governmental or non-governmental entities into these people's lives. Some people are targeted individuals. I'm not going to say that the government doesn't go after people or experiment on people, because the government does a lot of jazzed, crappy things. But some people are paranoid, and some people are crazy, and some people just are deceivers and liars. And some people, given a forum to talk or feel important, will take that opportunity, for better or for worse, for good things for them or for bad things for them. That's just the way that it goes. Okay. So why am I doing this? Okay, why am I making these videos about artificial intelligence, black goo? I have no desire to be just another skeptic pointing fingers at other people and saying, why you believe that? You're so stupid to believe that. I'm not trying to do that. I'm really not. What I want to do is I want to talk about these things because I think these things matter. Okay? When we're talking about things like conspiracy theories, we're oftentimes talking about death, dismemberment, or torture at the hands of governmental or non-governmental organizations, people in power structures, the victimization of the weak by the strong, okay? And these have very real results. Also, these have very real political results. I don't want to see people who should be concentrating on the real conspiracy behind 9/11, for example. People who might be strong, intelligent, willful advocates for the impeachment of certain government officials or certain corporate officials in ongoing problems related to 9/11 or other things. I don't want to see those people distracted by canards and false flags, red herrings, if you will. Also, I want to point out this. If you are a skeptic or skeptical about government, or you think that there are people out there trying to trick you or be evil to you, or you believe in conspiracies, I just want to say that the easiest thing for them to do would be to get into this conspiracy community and start saying things, distracting things that would distract you off from point A or from point B. Now look, I don't know if artificial intelligence, black goo, exists anywhere on planet Earth. How could I know that? I'm not everywhere on planet Earth simultaneously, and I don't have the ability to, just by looking at something, say whether that's petroleum oil or whether that's some sort of sentient black goo. But I do want to say that I trust people. I do. For the most part, I think that people are good and good-hearted, and that mainstream science and mainstream medicine and mainstream government are not comprised of people who all want to kill us and weed us out and make us die, but rather, for the most part, is composed of people just like you and me who do legitimately want the best for all the people around them. I refuse to accept that the majority of people who are becoming doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners, pharmacists, pharmaceutical engineers, chemical engineers, surgeons, biotech engineers are out to do a sort of generalized harm to the people at large. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense from any sort of valence, because it's just so counterproductive. We might be able to get into some of those subjects. We want to keep things tight. Also, I think it's very important for me to say this. One of the aspects of the artificial intelligence black goo phenomenon has been its connections to what's known as Morgellons disease or Morgellons syndrome. Okay. Morgellons syndrome is a disease that is characterized by itching of the flesh or joint pain, or there's a lot of different symptoms, but one of the most specific symptoms is fibrous projections or growths from the body, from the lips, from the hands, from various parts of the body. Okay, Morgellons is one of those diseases that is currently not recognized by either the Center for Disease Control in America or the American Medical Association or any other internationally recognized medical body. I want to say this to people who feel that they are suffering from Morgellons, or that Morgellons syndrome is a real thing, or that they have friends or family members who believe in Morgellons. I just want to say to you that I will do my best to be sensitive to this. In my own life, I've had multiple experiences with great friends who have had diseases like Lyme disease, chronic fatigue syndrome, and addiction. Things that are classified by some people as a disease and some people not as a disease. I know the personal frustration that a person can feel if they feel that they're suffering from an illness, and every time they go to a doctor or a medical practitioner, they are told that they are asymptomatic, that there's no causal there's no causal, finding of what's causing them, or they don't believe that the medical practitioner doesn't believe that the disease actually exists. That can be scary. That can be frustrating. So I'm not here to add to your frustration, but we do need to talk about this. So where and when I have to feel that, I need to talk about maybe famous people involved in the Morgellons field that I feel are debunkable or not true or lack bona fides. I have to tell you that because it doesn't help you. It doesn't help you if you have a disease that is of unknown origin to have jokers out there that are not being criticized. We got to be critical about these things, okay? But I do want to tell you that I'm ultimately sympathetic to you if you suffer from any sort of disease or disorder that has no causal origin. It's very scary. Okay, and I also appreciate the fact that because the Morgellons is at this intersection with this artificial intelligence black goo, that like all conspiracies are big and they're larger than you and they can seem on you. That I feel for you, and I know how you feel. Also, I just want to say this. There's a lot of things and a lot of ways in which I agree with mainstream medicine. There's a lot of ways that I don't. I'm the father of two. I'm an anti-vaxxer. Make of that what you will. Damn me if you will. I'm not a total anti-vaxxer. My kids have some vaccines, but the majority of vaccines that are on the schedule, they don't have. Why? Well, you know why, and I'm not going to go into it. That's a video for another time. I hope you enjoyed this introductory video. Of course, this video is the shortest video I've ever done. Okay, the videos specifically talk about the specific projects obviously will be a little bit longer because I like to go through things in a little bit more detail and go through things point by point. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope people that have tuned into my other videos know and understand and can appreciate that what we're trying to do here is maybe do a little bit of a different tone. Okay, warning to those people who might be getting involved in the artificial intelligence black goo ongoing series that I will be doing is that I do have a reputation for a couple of things. Number one, cursing. I curse a lot. Kind of like what level of cursing? A kind of a George Carlin, Bill Hicks, Lenny Bruce kind of, dock worker kind of language. This is the kind of way that I talk. I'm a little bit crass, but I do want to say this, is that it's been brought to my attention by several people that the way that I've spoken in the past about specific issues, specifically related to childhood trauma, or sexual abuse or rape has been a little bit too much. And while I'm not the type of guy that tells people, when I hear the word trigger warnings, I would say if you need to walk through life with trigger warnings blaring at you, then you might as well stay home because that's not how life works. But having said that, it's been brought to my attention that there's some things that I do kind of out of nowhere that seem to really have been hitting people. Also, I did a recent video about Bashar that's brought new subscribers to my channel who come from a totally different world, and these people have reacted strongly to my language. I had one person, I thought I'd sent them to a hospital. I don't know what was going on with them. I felt really bad. And so that's part of the reason I'm going to try and control the potty mouth, as it were, to a lesser degree, but to a more degree, I'll try to be a little less, about certain things, which I don't know. It seems to upset certain people. Okay, I love you all. We're going to have a fun time with this. To the people and the researchers that I talk about, okay, hey, look, it's one of those things. Scientific research is scientific research is scientific research. It's very common in the Lancet Medical Journal or Natural Science or any of the bigger science periodicals to have a study published, okay, a research paper published, a research paper or study that people have been spending years on, only to several months later have some other group, some other university, some other lab come out and say, oh, by the way, that 9 years you spent working on trying to sequence the mitochondrial DNA of the fruit fly, you're wrong, sucker. Here's the way you really do it. That happens. So if there's any people who hear new information from me that either contradicts their information that they've researched or whatever, what can I do? What can I tell you? It just is what it is. Also to the audience, you got to keep an open mind about these things, okay? Artificial intelligence, black goo, Miles Johnston, David Griffin, Sarah Rachel Adams, David Icke, Simon Parks. These people aren't your best friends. They ain't your buddies, unless they're your best friends, your buddies. If they're your best friends, literally your buddies. Hey, what are you gonna do? You got loyalty's loyalty. I don't blame you one bit. But if you're just out there trying to find information You're not married to this information, right? You want to know the right answer. If you were taught that 2 plus 2 equals 5 your entire life, and then you find out that someone's out there telling you that 2 plus 2 equals 4, it doesn't do you any service to say, who are you? Everybody knows that 2 plus 2 equals 5. No, you got to have your mind and ears open and your heart open to new info. You know? I'm not here to brainwash you. I'm not here to reprogram you. I'm here to give you a different take on this stuff. And you need it, baby. The one thing that we all got to know in this world that's been going on, that's been lacking in this community, is critical analysis of other people's thoughts and ideas. There's plenty of name calling, there's plenty of finger pointing, but there's not enough hardcore analysis. And when it comes to this artificial intelligence black goo, we're dealing with a subject that presents itself to us as scientific, right? As a studyable, quantifiable, real phenomena. Not angels, or voices from beyond, or interactions with grand creation. We're talking about a substance that supposedly is here on Earth that has real world effects on real world people. So let's talk about it. Let's analyze it. Let's figure out what's going on. Okay? I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. Bye bye.